Oh, yeah. Well, he'll be in the, all right, well, he'll be in the 12-year-old league next year. Same league, right? It's 10 to 12 years.
So, what's the, sorry, what is the fabric first? Like, what are the pieces for that? Okay, first.
Also say if they notice any technical difficulties.
This was, I don't know why, I just read a through one of the well, he's gonna be,
Like, later on,
Did you watch it, Mom?
Oh my god.
I told them it was a class. It was last week. You mentioned it for the week a couple weeks.
No, we talked to him on Wednesday. He's in the middle of the exam. Yeah, like this last week was review. And all of his exams are this like tomorrow. We should try. Yeah, do it. And we did it in the middle of some of the most important exams.
Are you doing it this time?
Yeah, I'll do it all. I got it all. Thank you, though. I'll get it. I'll bring it in. We'll just start singing. Every time. It's going. Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week. They the board ousted our CEO. I'm still there, still doing.
Hey, you're saying it's gonna be
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But that's okay. It's known at this point. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Good morning! Good morning, good morning!
waiting.
We're gonna have
have time, and we're gonna take a little bit of a break in about 10 minutes or so to be able to come and get some food. So feel free if you want to go ahead and grab some, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. We move. You okay? I need you in here too, buddy. Yeah, I know. That's okay. We're going to start by singing the welcome table this morning. Welcome. Might as well stay standing as you find your seats. So we're going to start by singing the welcome table. Will y'all join me? I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, one of these days. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days, hallelujah. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days, one of these days. I'm gonna love just like Jesus. I'm gonna love just like Jesus one of these days, hallelujah. I'm gonna love just like Jesus. Gonna love just like Jesus one of these days, one of these days. All God's children gonna sit together. All God's children gonna sit together one of these days, hallelujah. All God's children gonna sit together. All God's children gonna sit together one of these days, one of these days. God's children gonna sit together one of these days, one of these days. Amen. Please be seated if you can find a seat. Do we need to get more chairs? We good?
Okay.
I'm doing the jacks. That's right.
Good morning. Welcome to worship at the welcome table. We're glad you're here this morning, joining us for this fellowship town hall gathering. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your voice to the table. Will you join me in prayer? God of wisdom and love, we come into this time of discernment with open hands. God, we give thanks for the welcome table. We give thanks for the people who have gathered here, the songs we've sung, the prayers we've prayed, the meals and the conversations that we've shared, and the many ways in which we've encountered you in one another. We confess that we don't have all the answers. We're not here simply to protect what is familiar or chase what is new. We are here to listen. We ask that you help us listen for what is life-giving. Help us notice what has become heavy. Help us be honest about what we desire and about what we're willing to carry. Give us courage to name what needs to change. Give us humility to release what may no longer serve us. Give us imagination to see what could be built, strengthened, and sustained together. Keep us from fear, defensiveness, or a scarcity mindset. Keep us rooted in love, trust, patience, and care for one another. Guide our conversation whenever we gather. Let every voice matter. Let every person feel invited to share honestly. Help us listen deeply to you, to one another, and to the quiet movements of your Spirit among us. Show us what is ours to do, what is ours to release, and what is ours to receive. And may the welcome table remain deeply itself, a place of welcome, justice, compassion, worship, and beloved community. Amen. Like I mentioned, today we're having a fellowship gathering in the form of a town hall. Actually, I'm going to stop calling it a fellowship gathering. We're going to split that out. This is a town hall gathering. We're just going to name it for what it is. As we know, we are in a season of discernment as a community where we're working together to try to figure out where God is leading us next. This core question that we're trying to answer is, what model allows the welcome table to remain deeply itself while also being sustainable? And as a reminder to get to that answer, we're trying to understand what is meaningful to us in worship and in life as a community, and what we're willing to contribute. I have a plan for us today that I'm going to get more into in just a little bit. For those joining us online, we really, really want your participation in this as well. So we might be moving the camera around some. If you notice any kind of technical difficulties, please do let us know. But we invite you to leave comments and engage with us as we go through. Celeste is monitoring Facebook, and so she'll be looking out for those. But first, each time we take time to gather together, we pause to notice where we've seen God at work in our lives and in the world's, and we call those God sightings. This morning, I am going to start our God sightings time by showing something that was a God sighting to me right before I got here this morning. Y'all have heard us mention Bashir, who has been joining us from Pakistan on a regular basis. Bashir has become very dear to my family and also to this community from afar. And this morning he sent us a video. And so I am going to share that video with all of you so that you can hear what Bashir has to say in his own words. This is the first time we're trying something like this in a different way for the sound. So if you can't hear, I will share the video with you later if you need to, but I'm hoping that everyone should be able to hear this.
Hello everyone, this is Bashir. I'm talking from Islamabad, Pakistan, and I'm also a member of Welcome Table Online. So happy Sunday to everyone. Actually, I wanted to send you this message for Welcome Table. First of all, greetings to my beautiful Welcome Table family. Today, I just want to speak from my heart and thank every single one of you for becoming such an important part of my journey and my life. Life sometimes becomes really difficult. And watching all of us gather together in fellowship, worship, prayer, music, teaching, and love truly touched my soul. Even though we come from different places, backgrounds, and experiences, the Welcome Table really created something very special. A family united through faith, kindness, and hope. And while being here in Pakistan, far away from many things in life, I actually learned something powerful through all of you, that God can work through people, through fellowship, through simple kindness, and through a community that genuinely cares for one another. The worship moments, a peaceful atmosphere, the teaching, the prayers, and even the small conversations made me really feel seen, valued, and encouraged. There were moments where I honestly felt God's presence through this fellowship. This is actually I felt many times, like one verse that stayed deeply in my heart, especially when David's teaching is Jeremiah 29:11. It says that, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And that verse changed something inside me, because sometimes in different seasons we stop living in ourselves, but through this fellowship I was reminded that God still sees purpose in us, still walks with us, and still lifts us up even in our weakest moments. So all of this, I especially want to thank Sister Celeste, your beautiful voice and worship. It's actually beautiful when you're starting every day. Every time you sing, it brought peace, hope, and encouragement to me. You are not only an amazing singer, but also such an important part of organizing and bringing people together online with love and care. Your singing really matters. And David, yes, you are a gentle and polite way of teaching and explaining things is truly inspiring. The patience, the humility, and kindness you carry while speaking makes people feel comfortable and understood. I truly hope you remain connected with the Welcome Table in the future and continue this beautiful mission, because your presence genuinely encourages people, especially like me. And I also thank to Mr. Butch, Miss Neil, and every single member of the Welcome Table. Together, all of you built a fellowship that feels welcoming, loving, peaceful, and spiritually strong. This is all of us which made the Welcome Table strong. You created a community where people can grow closer to God and spread love among each other. And finally, Brandon, you are amazing. Thank you for starting the Welcome Table and for working so hard to keep all of us connected together in fellowship. Through your dedication and encouragement, I witnessed something very powerful, like a true God sighting. What is the God sighting? This is actually the God sighting. God showed Himself to me through people like Brandon, David, Celeste, and all of you. Even while living in a situation where life sometimes feels like I'm actually in survival mode. This is reality. Your prayers and your support, fellowship, and encouragement helped me to stay strong and keep going. You reminded me that not to lose hope. You made me feel that I am not alone, and I actually felt that just because of you. No matter how dark the night becomes, God's light still finds a way to reach us through people like you. And honestly, I found that light through the Welcome Table and its people. I learned a lot from Welcome Table. No matter the distance, no matter the country, you all made me feel like my family. And that is something I will always carry in my heart. And I wish may God bless every one of you, abundantly strengthen this fellowship even more, and continue using the Welcome Table to spread faith, love, and peace and hope to the world. And I am saying this, thank you, all of you, so much from my heart. And I hope one day physically I join the welcome table and sit there and listen to the singing, the prayers, the verses which are explained. And I'm so hopeful.
Thank you, Bashir. If you're on and watching, thank you for sending that. Who wants to follow that? That was,
I will say that.
yeah.
Tomorrow is his interview at the embassy.
Oh.
And not only that, but you told me that he's in exams right now. And
Exams.
Oh.
so when he talked about survival mode,
Wow.
that is 100% the case.
Wow.
They're asking his Hungarian embassy. If he's awarded a student visa, then we will be sending him to Hungary for school. And that will put him in a safe place and we won't apply for asylum there. So tomorrow is a very good deal.
Yep. Tonight for us. Tonight for us.
That's right. It's actually tonight our time. That's
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
Well, that was a huge God sighting for me this morning. And I was very excited to share that with all of you. I think that speaks so much to who we are. And just for the conversations we're going to have today, I think that was just extra meaningful. So, any other God sightings? If you're joining us online, please feel free to put those in the comments section. But anyone here have any God sightings from the week that we'd like to share? Ava?
This morning, Jack was sort of, he spoke in my notes, and was working on my hair, acting downstairs, and just seeing him, like, looking so happy with it.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'll add another one. Jack, you are a big God sighting for us every day. And today, on your birthday, especially.
Yay.
So you are
Last
God
year
sighting
is a
from
single
all of us.
digit.
Yep.
Is that why you're matching?
Today is his birthday.
Yeah.
Can we sing? You want to sing Happy Birthday? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jack. Happy birthday to you.
Are y'all going to the Star Wars movie?
We are.
Yes. Another God sighting. The Star Wars
And you got the Mall series too?
movie. What's that?
And you got the Mall
And we got the mall series too. Yep. What other God sightings?
We had privilege of going to number 2 Grandover and number 5 Lincoln's graduation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, Phil.
I've got two. I have a grandson who graduated Thursday in Atlanta, and it was held at the Georgia Tech Coliseum for 600 kids.
Whoa.
600 kids. I have a follow-up, okay? I get a God sighting every morning. Thanks to Tweet, she sent me an email, and in my inbox, I get our daily verse. And the daily verse is then a reflection of it, and then there's a prayer, and then there's a song that goes with it, or hymn that goes with it, and some trivia as well. And it comes in my inbox every morning.
That's great.
So if anybody would like to have that, and go so they can sign up for that website, we'll be glad to furnish it for you.
That's great. Thank you, Phil. Maybe if you could send that to me, I can add that in our newsletter.
Yeah,
And I can
okay.
create a resource we share. Yeah. Great.
I went at work this week. One of my kiddos discharged yesterday. He's going to like a lower level of care before he goes home. But he was essentially nonverbal when he came in with us, and when he would try to talk, I could not understand anything he was saying. And on Friday, he was kind of like saying goodbyes to all of his peers and everything like that, and he went to the classroom, and he was like walking around and pointing to the kids and going, "You're gonna do so good. You keep listening to the staff. You do your study." Like, he was like going around and giving everyone advice, and just seeing the ways that his like, even just his speech alone has grown, let alone like all of his behavior. Like, he was super safe the whole time he was with us. And,
Wow.
yeah, so it was really awesome to see him grow like that.
Thank you for sharing Yeah,
Cambridge children, that's where I've been for the last, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. But, the older one, Tate, is 8 years old, and he'll be going into 3rd grade next year.
Wow.
And Trace, the 6-year-old, is going to be going into 1st grade.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Definitely a God sighting. How fast they grow, right?
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob.
I had one, since everybody's bragging about their grandchildren. I too, Rosie and I also went to our grandson's graduation. We last graduated from Carolina with a degree in cybersecurity and graduated from Home.
Awesome.
That's great. That's great. Definitely a God sighting.
Grandchildren know, I got a video yesterday on my almost 40-year-old learning to ride a bike. I mean, you know.
There you go.
Caroline, here you come. That's great.
Wonderful.
I got a text this week from a student that I had, his father was in the 7th grade, so I guess I've known her. Yeah. She's young, but she was in Savannah and museum, and she saw something that she talked about life, and so she sent a picture of it, and she said, "I was thinking about you, and I saw this, I read it, love it, so I worked with me, whatever." Then I got an unexpected graduation announcement from a kid I did not teach, but I know, and it just sort of made me, it's kind of affirming to me about before you leave, just in the classroom, and also that all adults have such an impact on young people, and sometimes it's not the kids you would think,
Yeah.
but they're watching, and I just, it was very kind of it.
Yeah. Definitely a huge God sighting. Thank you, Susan.
Well, I always do help at the gym, going in and out, sometimes Susan, sometimes members of the staff there, or sometimes just people who are coming in, and somebody will rush to help, because believe it or not, they don't have a,
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The other day, I saw somebody, she said she was the assistant manager, and she had a cane, and her legs, I don't know what was wrong with her, but she couldn't walk without the cane, and her legs were like, she struggles to walk. Well, she helped me out the door. And I said, well, I should be helping you. She said, I'm gonna work for getting a door.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I
That'd
don't
be
know
great.
if that work, because Ellie is really strange about doing things for one place that they don't do for others. Anyway, I was so appreciative of her. She said, well, I'm gonna work at it. So I got home yesterday from the gym, and my grandson and son were there, so that was really good fun.
That's great. A lot of God sightings. Yeah. Thank you, Rosie. Let's pray together. God, we thank you for all of the many ways in which you show up in our everyday. We thank you for text messages that remind us of the impact that we've had on someone's life. We thank you for ways that we're helped in and out of doors and people just showing that they're thinking of us and kindness. God, we thank you for our children and our grandchildren and the ability that we have to watch them grow and achieve things and turn into these wonderful little people and big people. God, we thank you for this community. We thank you for the ways in which we show up for each other. We thank you for the time that we have together. And for the fact that you are here in the midst of that time. God, we just ask that as we move into these conversations, that you move in us, move through us, and move around us this morning. That you guide our hearts and minds. And again, thank you for being here. Amen.
Brandon, can
Yes,
I
ma'am.
say one more thing?
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that the sugar this morning. I love the fact that now I have a face with the name.
Yes.
That makes me feel closer,
Yeah.
and I appreciate all his wonderful, eloquent words.
Yep.
More than I could do.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Rosie. Okay, we're gonna take it's already almost 11. So let's take like a 5 no more minute break. Take some time, grab some food. For those joining us online, please stay, take a few minutes to get any food you might want or drink. And then we're gonna come back together in 5 minutes and we're gonna start our town hall and discussion. Does that work? All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's a top of a table. Yeah. They have like a wooden altar table. Usually it sits right over there.
I can tell if it's supposed to go like down or if there's like pockets on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like it could be some kind of.
They were just we're MacGyvering and easy.
There you go. That's right.
Thank you.
Do you like that memory?
I love that. What did you say?
Okay, good.
Oh no. Look, I'll fix them for you. Fixed. Sorry. I didn't mean to scratch you. Are you limping because your arm hurts? Interesting.
This way, or they're gonna see like the back. You look good for your age.
Oh no, you can't secret. You can't let me serious.
I would be serious. Dragster.
Yeah.
Mom, how was the sound? That's
I was just gonna say, that was him, that was him.
No, because I'm gonna make, when I do the reading, they can see.
Yeah, that's
Oh, you did? Have you started it?
Yes.
It's good?
We got to know chapter 5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You like it?
After you play with Christmas.
Yeah. That was so cool. I never like.
The name of the chapter is I Believe You.
Yeah.
And I know the starts off with, what's the gap between smiles?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, giving the speech.
Yeah.
I never kept it done. It's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, free. You can see it at the Discovery Place. Oh, really? Oh, yes.
It's not Vancouver. He's been there before. Yeah, he always says like that.
All right, we're at 5 minutes.
We're going to get out.
We still have to watch the We're going to watch the tonight.
Right here.
Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started for the sake of time here as some people finish up. Y'all feel free to eat. For those joining us online, I'm going to keep the camera facing this way for a little bit while I talk. But I'm not going to be doing a lot of talking today. Hopefully, most of y'all will be talking. But what I do want to do first is recap a little bit some of the information that we gathered at our last town hall. After this, I'm going to move the camera so that those who are joining us online can see everybody in the room as we have our kind of discussion. So last time, at our last town hall a month ago, we gathered to really kind of organize around several major questions. To look at what is meaningful for us, to look at what feels difficult or unsustainable for us, what are some possible ideas or experiments that we could try, and what contributions people would be willing to offer. And then we had a parking lot where we had some topics that we might not be talking about today, but those are things that we do need to address moving forward. The biggest overall takeaway from all of the information that we gathered, based off of me reviewing it and thinking through it, is that the Welcome Table has something special to offer. A community and worship life grounded in love, support, welcome, honest relationships, shared participation, and meaningful spiritual practice. People value that the welcome table creates space for everyone, including our younger folks, and that everyone can belong and contribute. People also value worship and reflection that connect with real life, something we can carry with us and practice in our everyday lives. And space to share God sightings. The number of sticky notes that say God sightings on them from last time, there were a lot. At the same time, we need simpler and more shared ways of doing things so that what is meaningful can also become sustainable. That's the overall takeaway. I think that makes sense to me. That's what I think we've all been feeling, and that's what came out in that discussion. So what I've done is for each of those questions that we asked, I kind of gathered some of the sticky notes together that were following similar themes and broke those out by themes. And so I just want to kind of go through those themes very quickly that we identified last time. So when we look at and talk about what is meaningful to us, people repeatedly name that the welcome table feels like more than a worship service. It feels like a community where people are known, loved, and supported. Family, love, and support. Things that were said were feeling that TWT is family, hospitality, hugs, prayer, family atmosphere, a lot of love. Another thing that was shared was that several notes named that the welcome table matters when worship leads toward action, service, and community involvement. So things like helping each other accomplish God's work, outreach and community involvement, planning together for outreach, that came up several times. Being seen, heard, and safe. A major theme was that the welcome table creates a safe place for us to be vulnerable with each other. One thing said people notice when someone is struggling or quiet. Being seen, heard, and respected. Those themes came up a lot. People value worship that feels intentional, that feels heartfelt and connected, that's not performative or disconnected. Things like honest prayers that come from the heart were mentioned. The flow of the service was mentioned. Music, reflection, and spiritual practice came up a lot. Those were named often, especially when they connect with real life, with healing, dealing with challenges, and then having a connected theme throughout worship. Where am I? God sightings and real life connection. I think that's pretty obvious. And then fellowship, participation, and shared life. So people value the time before and after worship, the fellowship gatherings, the ways in which we're able to come together. One of them said being able to worship and hang out was one of the sticky notes. So that's what feels meaningful to us. Who wants to help me put up these posters? Who can help me do that? Miles, would you help me do that? Or Ava, you want to? But Ava, you're gonna leave soon, kiddo. So, yeah. Sorry, Miles, do you mind helping me? If you could just sit right over here, and then I will hand you when I'm done. I'll hand this to you, and you can hang it up. I appreciate it, Miles. Thank you. Okay, what feels difficult? Sustainability and shared ownership. People repeatedly named the concern around the work of planning, leading, and sustaining the welcome table, and that it's falling on too few people. Formation and reflection leadership. Obviously, with David leaving, that came out as a concern. Children and younger disciples. That was one that kind of surprised me a little bit. But there is a big desire to really be more engaged with our younger folks. And so that was something that really, really stood out a lot in both what is meaningful and the difficulty, and throughout everything, actually. I think our kids really, really stood out. Growth, size, and identity. People are holding kind of a tension between wanting the welcome table to continue and to grow, but not losing that kind of smallness that allows us to build that trust, to build those relationships and be vulnerable with each other. Technology, online participation, and setup. I think that speaks for itself. Time, structure, and participation. How do we encourage participation but ensure that there's structure so that we don't have worship for 3 hours, worship elements and rhythms. So, people name specific elements that either feel difficult or need some adjustment. So, we had some that said that one of the difficulties are the contemplative gatherings. And then we had others that said we need more contemplative gatherings. Somebody said that communion feels like a lot of work. Is there a way that we can simplify that? So there's some things that we can work on in there that feel difficult and unsustainable. Mission, outreach, and community involvement. I think people are saying that we want more outward-facing engagement, but how do we do that sustainably? And then the building and physical space is one that came up as well. So that's what feels difficult. And Miles, I'm going to hand this to you, buddy. So you can just put it up on the wall for me. There were several categories that people shared they could contribute and be a part of and engage in. So we have people being willing to be engaged in worship leadership and upfront participation, some storytelling, reflections, and sharing. People, somebody wrote that they have a children's Bible and that we could, they would be willing to bring that, and then we could read a story from the children's Bible to help engage our younger folks. People are willing to be engaged in care and support and formation, mission and service and outreach, for creative contributions, as in art, music, things like that, and then for operations, for setup and breakdown, and that kind of stuff. So a bunch of contributions there. And I know I'm going through this quickly, but it's because we have a bunch of work that I'm hoping we can get to. Lastly, for those who were there last time, we went through and shared a bunch of ideas that we have for how we could address David departing and potentially losing that reflection that we get from him. So what could that look like? And then when we shared those ideas, we put those on sticky notes, and then everybody went around and had stickers, and we voted on which ideas we liked, and the ones with the most votes kind of stood out. And then I gathered all of those ideas into some kind of themes. And so the first one, this was the one that stood out the most, was video and guest source reflections. There were 2 sticky notes that got 9 votes, and one of them was pre-recorded David reflections. So honestly, that's a possibility. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but one of the contributions that David wrote was to potentially share reflections from afar. So there's opportunity for something to work there. And then the second highest in that category was occasional guest preachers or source sermons. And then the second one that got 9 votes was in the shared study and discussion formation category. Somebody said shared study where people read or listen during the week and then discuss together when we come together on Sunday. So that also got 9 votes. And then we have testimony, storytelling, and shared prayer. Again, children, younger disciples, and intergenerational worship came up a lot, and ways that we could do that. Somebody brought up the puppet show that we did a couple Christmases ago. Fellowship, community life, and gatherings. So our fellowship gatherings got 8 votes. And then an occasional hymn sing also got 8 votes. So there are different things that we could do there. And then we have mission service and outreach, creative, embodied worship, where we're talking art or poetry or visual reflection. And then communion, God sightings, and worship practice. So those are the themes of the ideas. These top 2 are where we're going to focus the majority of our time today. So what I want to do now is, I hope we get to those today. We might not, because I want to do something first. So one of the unique things about the welcome table is that we are small enough that there's not this like big machine behind worship, so we can be flexible and nimble in how we do worship. So the way that I plan worship is we look about a quarter out, so about the next 3 months. And then David will go in, and I'll go in, and whoever else is engaged will go in, and we'll put our schedules and say, this is when we're available and when we're not available. And then based off of that, I look and say, okay, this week we can do kind of an in-person reflection. This week will need to be a fellowship gathering. This week we can do a contemplative gathering. So I kind of have these worship gathering types, like a bucket of worship gathering types that I can pull from and put the puzzle together. I don't see that changing. What is changing is who is engaged in that worship gathering, right? And what we need are a few more types of worship gathering to be able to kind of navigate this. But before we get into those new types and what I have called holy experiments and building out what I shared last time, our holy experiment cards, before we do that for these 2 types of gatherings, what I want to do is a quick check-in on the current gathering types that we have. So I want us to just talk about briefly, how do we feel about contemplative gatherings? How do we feel about fellowship gatherings? How do we feel about our in-person reflection gatherings? And just get a quick status check. I've got 3 questions. Miles, I'm going to give this to you, buddy. I'm going to put this up over here because I'm going to need to write on there. But the 3 questions that I want us to look at when we are kind of doing this quick check-in are, what of this gathering type do we want to keep? What do we want to protect? In other words, what has been working well that we really like? What do we need to simplify, or what do we need to change? In other words, what hasn't been going as well as we would like? And then, because our kids came up so much, I think in everything that we do, we need to think about how are we engaging our youth in that, and how are we engaging online participants. I think the video that we watched this morning showed just how important and meaningful our online worship can be. And I think many of us who have traveled away have been able to join in online, and that's been meaningful for us as well. So I want us to make sure we're considering that. So let me move the camera, because now you guys are going to talk more than me, and I want to make sure that everybody here can see you guys. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's start with fellowship gatherings. And I'm gonna ask if you can make sure to speak up when you speak, to speak as loudly as you can. Use your teacher voice, because the camera is the microphone, and so now the microphone is further away from y'all in the back. So, fellowship gatherings. I would love for us to spend no more than like 3 to 5 minutes on each of these. So, quick succession. What is working well in our fellowship gatherings? What do we want to keep? What do we want to protect? Any thoughts? Just shout them out.
I thought before that during the fellowship gathering, it was an interesting thing to just throw out some topic.
A topic?
To discuss with the people who you end up sitting around. Not to totally guide the conversation, but to keep it from just being like, we ran into each other,
Yeah.
we're having a conversation.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great idea. Okay. Yeah. What else? And it doesn't have to be, it can be any one of these questions. If you just have any thoughts on fellowship gatherings, what do you like, what do you not like? Yeah.
I think we need some way to mix people up.
Mix people up. Okay.
That we see the same people, and that even though we know everybody, we might not know some people as well as others. And it's good to just kind of mix them.
Yep. Great idea.
So however you want to do that.
Yep.
Even if we sit.
Yeah, everybody gets comfortable in their own like seats, and then you end up sitting in the same place. Yeah, that makes sense.
You could do that with a topic, actually. Yeah.
You could, we could put those two together. Yeah.
So that means I have to sit on the other.
Yes, it means we have to be uncomfortable for a little bit.
And I can't go with you.
Sweet and I felt like visitors when we sat on the other side.
Yeah.
We wondered who you were.
What else?
Well, you might want to make, my thought was about somehow, this is a college facility. So supposedly there's college kids that come to this facility at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was some way that we could invite them to a fellowship gathering because of food or whatever, to just let them know we're here.
Can you get out the parking lot? Thank you. Yes.
That might, I think part of the problem is, I don't know, there's a couple of young people in this room, but we're all just old. So we need,
Yeah.
and from what I've read in different books is college kids love to eat, and
It took you a book to learn that?
and they don't meet here on Sunday.
No.
What do they meet here, Tuesday?
It's several times throughout the week.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of, so what Celeste is doing, she's taking out the parking lot. Yeah, if you could put that over there, and if you can write, over on that one, and if you can write engaging college ministry. I do think that's something that we've somewhat explored, but maybe not built out enough. I will tell you, college kids love to eat, yes, but they don't love to get up at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Right.
So that is the timing of things, and when we do things is a little bit of the barrier there.
Right.
Well, Winthrop is hard too because a lot of people leave on the weekends. At least when I was there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Everybody
too.
left on the
Yeah.
weekends because there's no football games here. There's no
Yeah.
So I will say it's a little harder to engage them on a weekend than the Winthrop students.
Yep.
But
I think what you're mentioning is something that did come out as a part of that kind of like mission and outreach category. So what I would like to do is to not table that, but to put that as a part of the parking lot so that we're sure that we actually think about that and do that in a really intentional way. Because I think that's not just going to be for fellowship gatherings. I think that theme is going to come out in a lot of the different things we talk about.
I think the fellowship gathering is a good place to start with them though,
Yeah.
because it does give it's not super I like it's more relaxed environment where like they can just talk to people, but it would have to be, I would say that was where your like topic would come in too, because you don't want to just invite them and then have them sit here because we're all like
Yep.
sitting in our areas.
For sure.
Right.
You know, like it would be something where we would have to like.
Right. Yeah, actually could be like more scary for people.
Yes.
So, like, I don't know any of these
Right.
people, and I'll just sit and talk to them. Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, one of my
Just
favorite
the topic.
gatherings in the last, 10 years was when we had breakfast at my house.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had the regular service sitting by the pool,
Yeah.
and everybody was totally relaxed.
Yeah.
And kids, there were many kids sitting there, you know, wanting to get in the pool, and you have to say, whoa, you know, wait, you need to listen to the sermon.
Yeah.
But I also think that we need to bring in some younger kids. I feel like it's, I promised I wouldn't say anything. But I feel like we've come to a point where we are comfortable with each other.
Mhm.
But we have failed to reach out to others,
Mhm.
myself included.
Mhm.
And that's just, I think we need to
Yeah.
reach out.
Yes.
And fellowship gatherings are an opportunity to bring a friend, to invite somebody to come with you that day.
Yep.
That are non-threatening.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I have one little concern about those is that we don't burn out the pool.
So that was gonna be my thing, sourcing like food and all of this, making sure that we have different people engaged in that, and how do we navigate that?
We'll have to navigate it this summer.
So we're not gonna have any fellowship gatherings for the summer.
I'll put it in the freezer.
I'll bring it.
The college kids aren't here, so it might last.
Grace can get it out of the freezer.
Okay, anything else for fellowship gatherings? Do we feel good about that?
Maybe to send out, some sort of, invitation to the many people who have been a part of the welcome table who we don't see anymore, who, some have gone to other churches, but I suspect lots have not, and just say, hey, we're having a fellowship gathering, and we miss seeing you, we'd love for you to come. And I think that, you know, that might mean something to somebody. I mean, I know when I'm not here and somebody says, hey, we miss you, that means a lot. But it's easy just to sort of drift off and just not be there anymore. And there are lots of people who will be regular. That might be an appropriate time.
Okay.
Say, we're having a fellowship gathering, why don't you come?
Yep. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you talked to Ms. Kim lately?
Yes. So Kim was another big vote getter in our ideas last time we did this. Yes, ma'am.
Talking about reaching out to those who haven't been here, I do birthday cards along with a few others, and even though those people have not been here in a year or more, they still get a birthday card, or if we know of a concern that previous, I won't say members, but that have been here, I still try to be aware of that. And like with David's potluck that we're having, I have sent cards to these people to say, look, we are honoring David and his family on this day. I hope you will come.
Oh, that's
and be
great.
with us. I have done that, but it's hard. And a lot of these people, I hope they will come, but I do know for a fact that they're going somewhere else. Because several of them like to play the bells. They like to sing in the choir, and they're, you know, but I do continue to do along with Rosie and others that send out birthday cards.
Yep.
We do that.
There are also people that are subscribed to our newsletter that don't regularly come or haven't come in a long time. So I think there's a lot of value, and I think the fellowship gatherings are a good opportunity. I agree. But this again, how do we share that, right? Because going through that list of our community, figuring out who has been here, who hasn't been here, sending out those invitations, all of that takes time and effort. And so, you know, as we kind of dive into this a little bit more, not the fellowship gathering, but that idea, who all wants to be engaged in that, right? Those are questions that we need to ask and answer. Okay, for the sake of time, we're going to move on. And I think Miles. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. I never finished the Kim question. So, yes, Kim loves the welcome table deeply. Kim has a lot going on in her life. Not to mention that her mother just passed away, but she's also back in school. She works a full-time job. So Kim realized that the engagement with the welcome table and sharing reflections on a regular basis was just too difficult for her at this point in time in her life. So we still, I mean, everybody here loves Kim. We love Kim deeply, have for many years. We talk to Kim. Kim has an open invitation, and I've made it clear to Kim, please join us, even if you're not sharing a reflection, because we just love you and want you to be a part of this. You all right?
Yeah,
Is that my phone? Oh, that's your phone. I thought she grabbed my phone, and
no,
I was like,
I realized that I wasn't watching Facebook.
So, I don't know if that answers your question. It's not that we don't want Kim here, it's more that Kim just has too much going on.
So after the past, maybe it was settling down. I didn't know about school and everything.
Yeah, she ended up going back to school, and yeah. So she's doing well. I mean, obviously she's in a period of grief and mourning right now, but and she has an open invitation. We love Kim. But thank you for bringing that up, because that was somebody have Kim come and do reflections for us as a sticky note, and that got a lot of votes.
And she is always open to receiving sweets and flowers. And
Absolutely.
just leave them at the desk, they'll give them to her.
All right, contemplative gatherings. How do we feel about contemplative gatherings? What's going well? What's not going well? What do we need to simplify, change? How can we engage youth or online participants? This one, it's okay to have differing opinions, everybody. Some of you are going to love them, and some of you are going to hate them. And I've heard both sides, and that's okay. I think what we need to remember is that not everyone is going to be happy about everything that comes out of this process, right?
For instance, I love other people, not so much.
Yep.
So, and I often wonder about, you know, how this does with the kids when they, you know, have to sit still and nothing going on. So just.
Yeah.
Not just the kids having to sit still.
Kids, everyone.
Everyone having to sit still and be quiet without falling asleep and snoring.
Yeah. And I hope that I make it clear enough that there's not an expectation to just sit there completely still, right? Like we have some like things in the back that you can use, because sometimes contemplation, people need to move their hands and they need to have, you know, something to hold on to, crocheting, yeah. So maybe there's a way that we can emphasize that more or broaden that out a little bit. What else?
like the contemplation, and I like the way you have a little reflection going with that, maybe whatever you come, but maybe that part was a little stronger that you would have open, but I know that puts your pressure on whoever's doing it, you know what I mean? You always have something that.
A little message.
A message, yeah.
Yeah.
That's work on me.
Well, I was gonna say something, but you could have like more music on those times, or.
More music.
Or even have contemplation be a part of more services with just a small part of it.
So that's what I was wondering.
Right.
Is if instead of having a service or a gathering that is built out entirely around contemplation, if each gathering has a contemplative moment as a part of it, so that it's still a part and something that we're practicing together on a regular basis, but it's not overwhelming to some folks. Now, well, I'll be honest, what that does is that takes away one of my templated gatherings that I have that makes my life easier.
That helps like plug it in.
Like one of the easy things for me about contemplative gatherings is that I have it templated out, and all I do is I go in and I figure out what's the general message going to be, and then kind of build out that larger reflection-y contemplation
And
piece.
find music that would.
And then, and usually it's just one song. Usually we just, like a part of it not having a whole lot of music is because that takes time to figure out all of that music and stuff. Yeah.
Every worship experience for me has a contemplative piece to it. Whether there's spoken leadership, preached, or otherwise. I'm going to be in a contemplative moment or two during all that time. In fact, when David was here last time, I got into that. I even sent him a text in the middle of his sermon because he triggered something in my thinking. The value in what we do at our contemplative gatherings, for me, is that there's no interference. There's no spoken interference. And I go wherever I need to go. And I'm okay with that, but I'm well aware that there are lots of folks who are uncomfortable with that, who would rather be guided or led or have a spoken component. Because believe it or not, we all get into a contemplative moment when somebody preaches. Unless we're, hungover or something.
Well said.
Yeah. I think the contemplative gatherings that we have had here, for me, even though I'm schooled in a different mode of worship, I have had that over my lifetime, are good for me.
Okay.
It feels like refreshing, just like a wash,
Yep.
With the breath work.
Yeah. Okay. So house divided a little bit. And that's okay.
The people that don't care for it.
Just don't come.
It might make it better, and they got the ideas too.
Yeah. How we can improve that. Yeah.
I talked about like my group idea.
Yep.
Do a dual thing. So if you wanted to stay with the contemplative, or if you wanted to do a group, we could separate. I don't know how that would work. Just an idea.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Or you do it with like the hymn sing idea. Like if you did, let's do the hymn sing and a little bit of.
Merge a hymn sing with a contemplative gathering. Okay. So maybe if we.
I feel like with those you could play recorded music on us, right? Like it
Yeah.
just loosen the, like, lighten the load a little of the music part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe find some recording or like, you know, videos, that's like when you play a video of music too, it's
Yeah.
like, something.
Okay.
We do pretty good at it.
Well, yes. Well, didn't Grandma and Grandma's church have a, like, they had an acapella service where people would read out hymns?
Oh,
Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah,
service.
like the whole
First-
service was.
Right, the first whole service.
There was no music.
Okay, I think this gives us some things to think about for contemplative gatherings. Wow. I just looked at my watch. This did not go how I thought it was going to. Okay, our next, so the other gathering types that I have are our community connections gatherings. We haven't had one of those in a while, but that is where we invite some organization from the community to come and speak. I think that typically follows the same model as our in-person reflection. It's just that reflection time is theirs. For me, the biggest challenge is sourcing people to come and talk.
So we need to brainstorm a list, right?
Yeah, so if y'all have ideas, bring them to me, and then we can engage community organizations. So always feel free to share those. And then our in-person reflection gatherings, I think we're pretty good with those. I don't think we need to talk about that much. And then the other one that I had was our town hall gatherings. And I think what I've been trying to do is combine fellowship and town hall, and that has been a little bit off. So I think we need to just split those and make sure that we're very clear, this is a town hall gathering, this is what this is going to look like. And we can still have food, but then we don't have that 5-minute break and we just kind of move in. Because trying to have these kinds of conversations in like 30 to 40 minutes is tough. Okay. So we're not gonna talk about those. We're not gonna talk about anything else really, because we don't have time. But what I want us to do, so in terms of next steps, I'm sorry, I'm gonna move that if you don't mind. In terms of next steps, what we're going to do next time, and I might end up trying to move up. No, our next one's gonna be on the 28th of June. That'll be our next town hall gathering. That's a long time away, but we've got a lot over the next few weeks. So as a reminder, we've got Keller's graduation celebration next week, then we have David and the Brown celebration the week after, and then we have Emma Kate's baptism the week after that, and then will be David's last reflection with us on the 21st, and then we're already at the 28th. So do come to those. That's a lot that's going on, but we hope you'll be involved in those. So I might need to think through how we can do this maybe without waiting that long, but essentially what I want to do next is go through these holy experiments where we're going to look at those, those two ideas. So video, guest, shared reflections, or source reflections, and then shared study and discussion on what that could look like and really break it out. What's the basic idea? What is this preserving? What is this strengthening that we find meaningful? What difficulties might this be addressing? Again, talking about how we can engage youth and online participants. What do we need to do this? And any possible challenges that might come up. Immediate next steps, that kind of thing. I know for a fact that one of the immediate next steps for the video and shared and source reflections, that I need someone to be willing to come spend a few hours here with me trying to figure out the technology and how we would do that. So just moving things around and plugging different things in and testing things out to try to figure out how we can make that technology work. This morning was a first attempt at that. And how was that this morning? How was the video? Everybody felt pretty good about that? Everybody heard it? Okay. That was super positive for me and made me feel a lot better about the path forward. Because that might mean that maybe we've been making this more complicated than it needs to be, and maybe there are ways that we can simplify all of this. So that's for me to think about. But I need, at some point in the next month or so, if somebody's willing to just come here and spend a few hours moving things around and plugging things in and trying things out. Oh, awesome. Great. I've got you. Thank you.
Miles.
Miles. Okay, Miles. Okay. So we need to do that. And then the other things that we are going to do. Oh, the parking lot's over here. Okay, so there are two other things that we're going to do. We are going to test these out, these experiments. We'll try things out. I am going to send out a survey that is going to ask that kind of contributions question in a much more detailed way, and hopefully prompt you to think about what are the different areas that you could be engaged in, what gifts could you bring to the table, what you might not know how or if you could contribute, but maybe you're interested in learning, that kind of thing. So I'm going to build that out, and I'll send that out as soon as I can.
So that's a list of possibilities.
What's that?
You're going to send out a list of possibilities?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a combination of trying to like prompt you to think of what you could bring that maybe I'm not thinking about, and then also like these are the areas that we could use help with, and how could you do that? And not even maybe anything that we have necessarily already like set up and ready for you to be engaged in, but could you build that out? Like a couple of times you've been mentioned like more creative, more art, things like that. We don't necessarily have a setup and a way for you to be engaged that way, but what are some options? So thinking through that, and then these town hall discussions, they're not going to end anytime soon. We're going to keep having these. We'll keep talking about how things are going, and those are going to be opportunities for us to dive more into those parking lot issues. So I'm thinking the town halls, what we might do is like a check-in. How are things going? How do we feel about these ideas that we're iterating on? And then let's dive into one of those topics in more in-depth. How do we do more outreach? How do we engage people that haven't been here for a while? How do we engage Winthrop students? That kind of thing. Okay, thank you. This felt very rushed, and I apologize. I will make sure we have more time next time. But this has been very fruitful, I think, and gives us a lot to work off of. So thank you for your participation and your engagement, and appreciate you all. All right, let's sing. You want to sing? You want to sing the welcome table again? Let's sing the welcome. That's a great idea, Chris. Thank you. I don't have as we go as a slide up. I don't have a slide. Does everybody know it?
Sing it louder.
Okay, Celeste, can you sing it? How does it start?
As we go, may your spirit go before us.
As we go, may we follow where you lead. May we live what we have learned, share the message we have heard, and be a light unto the world as we go. As we go, may your spirit go before us. As we go, may we follow where you lead. May we live what we have learned, share the message we have heard, and be a light unto the world as we go. And be a light